Hello, this is a reading for Pisces for the beginning of the year up through January 2017. There'll be a new reading for February. Um, this is the first reading that I've done for you guys, so I'm happy that you're here, and I hope you get something out of the reading today. If you haven't checked out the introductory videos on my tarot readings, please do. Also, if you're curious as to what I think about spirituality and that type of thing, there are lots of videos that will go over that as well. But other than that, let's get into your reading here. For your current situation, Pisces, you have the High Priestess, and the High Priestess is very concerned with your ability to utilize your intuition. So we all have intuition speaking to us at all times. And a lot of these cards will deal with different processes which occur in that realm. The High Priestess represents sort of the archetype of someone who uses their intuition very well. You have come through perhaps discipline. Some people are lucky to have been raised this way, so they're sort of like this their whole life. But you're in a place where your intuition is serving you very well, and you can trust it, and you should trust it. What's crossing you right now is the Five of Wands. And the Five of Wands, you can see there's sort of a struggle going on, a little battle. And this is talking about around you, there is a situation where there's sort of a battle of minds occurring. There's a conflict of opinions. And it's very possible that you're involved in this somewhat too. But I get the idea that this is sort of an externalized energy, that maybe there's two people who you work with that are in a conflict over the best way to go forward about something. And perhaps you've sort of taken a side a little bit, but you haven't really taken a stand yet. The recent past, you have your Chariot here, which is really, it suggests sort of a mindset which got you to where you are here. The mindset is focus. It is, if we think about what the Chariot represents, think of it as like a car, okay, like transportation, fast transportation. And the benefit to that is obviously that you get where you're going a lot faster. Many things in this world wouldn't even be possible without fast transportation, like agriculture and society. It wouldn't be possible without it. But there is something also to be said for taking like a foot journey, walking someplace. You get to take in your surroundings, and you get to actually experience that process on a deeper level. Now, is it worth, like walking everywhere you go, never taking a car? Well, probably not. But that does not mean that there is not some intrinsic goodness to be derived from taking the walk instead of the car every now and then, But what this is saying in the context of your reading is that the attitude which you assumed to get to where you are, to get to that place where you can trust your intuition, was sort of getting in the car and going. It was knowing what had to be done and doing it, and not being too concerned with the process itself. Okay. And in your future, you have the Knight of Swords here. And the Knight of Swords is really sort of idealizing the attitude that is necessary to get your thoughts moving forward, to manifest them, or to sort of see a resolution in this argument. It's going to require you to keep your mind on the prize, or keep your eye on the prize, keep your mind on the end goal. Don't think about winning so much as think about the purpose of the argument. Where are you going with this? Like, what is it you're trying to accomplish? And keep in mind that if resistance or adversarial energy has built up around that goal, then it may be possible for you to, use diplomacy with the other side to accomplish your goal without them even realizing that you're accomplishing the goal. And that's really good diplomacy. I mean, it sounds a little underhanded, but if both parties are getting what they want, then that's good, right? I think so. In your foundation, you have the Four of Cups. And the Four of Cups is a little bit of a sadder card. You can tell the energy on that is a little bit more blue. And it suggests this in your foundation or in your subconscious thoughts suggests that you're in a place where you have some degree of fulfillment or a sense of fulfillment in your life. So whatever the struggle is that you're going through, it doesn't seem to be something that is sort of life or death, or that's a bad way of saying it. It's not something that you're going to stake your happiness on. We'll put it that way. There is an overall happiness about you that is pretty stable. However, this card is suggesting that you're starting to become tired of the way things are, you know, the way things are good. Because you have to have something to come in and muck up the work, so you don't have anything to do and you get really bored. So even the most happy times there are have a sense of this melancholy feeling where you just know that something is going to happen to upset this balance, and you're going to have to, you know, dip down into the despair in order for you to find a new place of light, you know, a new emotional range of happiness and joy. And so this is in your subconscious, and you're on some level aware of this, but maybe not. You know, maybe this is something that you're just sort of trying to deny. You're trying to think that it's going to be all happiness and roses, but there is going to be some sadness, and your mind state is going to change in your future. You know, and your crowning thoughts, your higher, more conscious thought, is the Ten of Coins, which, like I said, is very much involved with success, achievement, material wealth, especially. Everything's going very well for you. You know, you've worked hard for this and you've got there. And so it's, I guess what it's important to realize is that this success that you have, this measure of success in the physical or the material, emotional, you know, it's wonderful and everything. But if you're not feeling totally fulfilled in other aspects of your life, then perhaps all the emotional or all the material stability in the world won't fill that hole, won't fill that gap. So maybe you should think about, you know, giving to charity or working with charities if you don't feel like the money is being utilized properly. But it seems like you have an abundance here and an opportunity to help somebody with it. And I mean, you're obviously baking on some sort of ideas here. So if you have some money to pour into an idea and just, you know, put your effort really into what your thought is, you'll see some very good benefits from that. The cards are asking you to assume a position of self-reflection and meditation, to think carefully about why you're here. And that goes back to sort of the chariot energy. You want to, you got here, you know, you're here regardless of how it came to be. Maybe you weren't even expecting it, maybe it happened abruptly, but you are here. So now don't mess it up is the general message here. Take time to recenter yourself, to focus on what it was that you set out to accomplish. And then in your environment, we have the Ten of Swords. And this is another sort of a sad-looking card. It's actually very similar to the Four of Cups, in that it's sort of a person who's upset because of their perspective, because of how they're looking at things. So in other words, things may not be as bad as you really think they are, or you could simply be seeing that the hardship that you're afraid to go through is very inevitable. It's just part of life, you know. And so in that way, it doesn't sting quite as bad. You know, if we all have to go through it, if we all have to do it, then who can really say that it's a bad thing, you know? But this is about, more specifically, somebody who's not seeing the brighter side. This is someone who is very focused on the negative, or how this is affecting them in the short term. And this is in your environment. This is somebody around you, close to you, who it could be the other person in this argument here, who is seeing things as like the sky is falling somewhat, you know, but also just very helpless right now. It needs input. You know, very broken. Be careful with this person. Don't be too hard on them. Don't be too harsh, whoever they are. The fears card you have is the Five of Cups. I'll show you here. And this deck is Paulina Cassidy's Joie de Vivre deck, which is designed more for children. I like it a lot. I think it has very nice, memorable imagery, very dreamlike, and I like it. This card is your fears. What this card is really about is seeing in front of you the three cups you can see over here. Sorry, the three cups that are spilled on that one side, and then not seeing the two cups over here behind that are still there. So another card about sadness as the result of perspective, you know, so that's a pretty common theme in your reading here. And it's suggesting maybe you need a little bit more of a positive outlook. You need to accept the inevitability of change, but keep in mind that it's maybe not as bad as you think it is. You know, like look at the bright side. Look at what you can do now that you couldn't do before. You know, and that's what this is really suggesting. You know, you're fearing loss. You're fearing that everything that you've worked so hard for could go away. But keep in mind that you've achieved a lot, so it's okay to give up a little bit to get something else in return. You know, to get everything is give and take. Everything is balance. You have to give something to get something. You know, your overall message is the Knight of Coins, and the Knight of Coins is it's all about being steadfast, about knowing what you have to do to accomplish your goals, and this is in the realm of the physical. So this would be like if you have a retirement plan, you know, like sticking to a budget, sticking to whatever plan that you're going to make. You need to really have the resolve to see it through to the end, to do what needs to be done. And that's your overall message here. And because your current situation was rooted in that High Priestess and this intuition, I feel like you already know what needs to be done here. I feel like it's really just about not making exceptions, not going back, not procrastinating, really doing what you know you have to do. And that's what I have for you this month, Pisces. Very interesting reading, a little bit confusing. So if anyone has any comments or anything about it, or any further insight, how this is applicable, please tell me. I'd love to hear about it. Okay? We'll see you again next month. Okay? Bye.